Ladies and gentlemen, what? Welcome to episode 46 of Brat Said That on a very special 316-day edition. Oh yes, this whole show is going to be about Stone Cold Steve Austin. I got the original OG 1998 Stone Cold hat on. Can't get any more attitude error than that. Guys, boys, ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited. I know we were just on a couple days ago, but it's late night. It's 8 o'clock at night. We got Austin and The Rock. What better way to start with two of the most prominent figures in the Attitude Era, Austin and The Rock in the ring together. We're gonna talk about everything. Raw just ended, but we're going to talk about Stone Cold because it is March 16th. What? It is 316. What? So give me a hell yeah if you're ready. I am your host, Matt Brat. Stone, look at that. That is 12-year-old, 2 T's, Matty J, Bratty J. I'm your host, Brad Jackson, and I got my co-producer, Chad GPT. I'm kind of flustered everywhere, I think I had too many cool ones. Yep, what? Anyways, but let's start off. We're going to start off recapping Raw. Raw just ended. We are on the road to WrestleMania, and the road's been bumpy, but it's kind of been smoothed out now so far. So, what happened on Raw? Well, it is official. It is official. Brock Lesnar is going to take on Oba Femi. Yes, it is a beast versus the ruler. And it's gonna be good. Now we kind of seen this a little bit with like Omos a few years ago, but this is completely different. Brock and Oba kind of same kind of body type, but both big beefy boys. I'm telling you, I am excited for that match. We'll look at the WrestleMania card while we talk about what's going on. It sounds a little not unprepared, but just a little thrown back, Sorry. Babe and I had corned beef and cabbage because we're working tomorrow, so we decided since I'm off today, we'll have some corned beef and cabbage. And it was stuck in my tooth, and it finally came out, so I feel so much better. Give me a hell yeah. Hell yeah. Sound like Patrick Warburton. Hey, Peter. Anyway, Seth Rollins, he came out. His mystery men came out. Paul Heyman came out. I didn't want to see Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman, stay away. He looked disheveled. Red eye. Looked like he just got beat down just a couple weeks ago. He came out. He's like, F-A-F-O, F-A-F-O, F-A-F-5. And then Brock Lesnar comes out. And I'm like, oh, please, no, don't do Seth Rollins versus Brock Lesnar. We just saw it 2019. I want to see something new. And then all of a sudden, lights go out. Oba Femi comes out. And then Brock, before Oba came out, took like 30 of the mess, man, and just threw them around. Yeet, and threw them, Good for them. Get that paycheck. But yeah, so it is official. Oba versus Brock. Seth, I think they're going to lead to Braun Breaker coming back. That's what they kind of hinted at. That's what I kind of feel is going to happen for Seth Rollins. Damn, man. Another corned beef. Anyways, I need floss. AJ Lee then skipped out, defending her WWE Intercontinental Women's Championship against Bayley. It was a good match, a lot better than I thought it was going to be. AJ Lee's kind of been hit or miss since she's come back. Mostly misses, but Bayley is Bayley. And they put on a good match. Road to WrestleMania. AJ, Becky, maybe some stipulation. Got to do something with those two. And I think Bayley and Lila Valkyria are going to go fight for the Women's Tag Team Championship. Good. Gets them all on the show. Everybody gets a spot. You get a spot, you get a spot, you get a spot. I love it. One person whose spot that I don't know what's going to happen, Penta. Penta came out. Dominic was not cleared, so he was like, well, I'll face anybody. And guess who came out? Dragon Lee. Now, I was kind of upset at Spaghetti because Dragon Lee, of course, is a great person to have like an opponent. But I wanted to see something more. They say that Rey Mysterio isn't clear to wrestle. So I'm thinking, with my Booker brain, that it's going to be Penta versus Gunther at WrestleMania. That would be great, I don't know if it kind of diminishes, bring Gunther down a level, because, he was a World Heavyweight Champion, retired Goldberg, Cena, and Styles. I think if you need Hunter on the card and Rey's not available, do Penta. Those two, put them together. Like I said, you have a lot of pieces of the puzzle. You can do any combination, and it's going to be real good. Another thing that is pretty certainly that we're going for, they showed Paul Heyman backstage, Vision, Logan Paul, Austin Theory came, and Paul Heyman's like, we need titles. We need titles. You two need to go after the Vision or after the Usos. So it's most likely going to be the Usos versus the Vision at WrestleMania. I think they're having a Raw Tag Team Championship match next Monday. So, might change it up a bit. But Usos versus the Vision. Perfect. Danhausen is overhausen like crazy hausen. He put another curse hausen on Grayson Wallerhausen. Anytime that guy shows up, you get an instant pop. He's over. He's over with the crowd. And, what are they going to do with him at WrestleMania? I don't know if he's, medically clear to wrestle. Honestly, I don't see much of Danhausen wrestling. He's a character. He did wrestle in the Indies as, Donovan Danhausen. Made a name for himself. But the character Danhausen is a character. And if you just put him on, even if it's, The Miz versus Jelly Roll, and you have Danhausen out there. Or Javon Evans versus Kofi Kingston. They have Danhausen put it, Even if he curses, say they have, a backstage segment with, a Las Vegas legend. You are cursed. It's going to get over. It's going to get over at WrestleMania. So, Danhausen's over. He is over in the sense of fandom. Danhausen is far from over. Wow, Mikey Whipwreck versus versus Steve Austin, ECW. By the way, if you ever see what wrestlers Mikey Whipwreck has trained, and then the lineage, in jiu-jitsu you have the lineage of your trainer got his black belt from that trainer. Mikey Whipwreck trained all these great guys, and then Brian Myers trained MJF, Chris Statlander, and others. So technically, I told Mikey Whipwreck that he is MJF's wrestling grandfather. And then at the end, since CM Punk, Roman Reigns, wasn't as a bloody, dagger feud or back-to-back that I thought. No Larry being brought up. I still want to see Roman Reigns spear AJ Lee. But, they're going to have a few more segments, get physical. Roman Reigns called CM Punk Phil. And CM Punk's well, I would call you your first name, but it's Latini Titty, whatever it is. And then I would call you Joe, but that would be a disrespect to the other Samoan Joe that I like. And we're oh my God, Samoan Joe reference. So that is going to be the main event night too. It's going to be a great main event. I'm looking forward to all of WrestleMania. I got the WrestleMania card right in front of me. So Brock Lesnar over Femi is official. Great match for WrestleMania. Great match for Brock. Now, is Brock going to get squashed? I hear, it's not going to go 25-minute classic. It's going to be, Suplex City, Fall from Grace, this and that. But it's going to be good. Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley, WWE Women's Championship. Rhea's going to have a tough night on her hand, with Jade. Jade is awesome. She's got the look. She's got everything you need, but the talent and the promo. So, Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. They did do a segment on Raw with Randy Orton. He was on his phone. He's I don't want to talk to you right now. I'll talk to you on SmackDown. And remember, wrestling has more than one royal family. And we're who's Randy Orton talking to? So another mystery that we need to find out. Sammy Vasquez versus Liv Morgan. Vasquez took on Raquel Rodriguez. I took my usual nap because I usually pass out for 20 minutes. I woke up right after Vasquez won. And CM Punk, Roman Reigns, like we said. Liv Morgan did a great promo, kind of hyping up the Judgment Day in the future. Now that Finn's out. So we're most likely going to see Finn come back as a demon against Dom. So that is Raw. It was a really good Raw. A lot of people were making jokes that Triple H took the night off, and that's why it was so good. But like I said, the star of the show is Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I want to talk about him. because he is pretty much one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He is on my Mount Rushmore. If you don't know my Mount Rushmore, it's a little bit different. My Mount Rushmore is people that kind of took over decades, took over the company. So you have like Bruno Sammartino in the 60s and 70s, Hogan in the 80s, Austin in the 90s, and Cena in the 2000s. And then if you add one more face, I'll put Roman Reigns on there. So mine's a little bit different. You know, a lot of people say Ric Flair, of course, Bret Hart, absolutely. You know, but to me, that's who I think are the best right now. Or that is my Mount Rushmore. And you are always welcome to have your Mount Rushmore. But Stone Cold Steve Austin, I do want to talk about, I'm on cagematch.net, which I use every day. Cagematch.net, whoever runs that, you are a saint, a blessing. I think it's another country, because a lot of times it's like different words and lettering and like, you know, different things I don't know that aren't English. But I do want to look at like his top few matches. So obviously, number one, Bret versus Austin. The match that kind of, you know, WrestleMania 13, submission match. Ken Shamrock as a special enforcer. Austin came in as a bad guy. Bret came in as a good guy. At the end of the night, Bret was a bad guy and Austin was over and beloved. The ending, he's in the sharpshooter, blood pouring down his face. Honestly, that is the first wrestling match. If you want to pinpoint a start, like, hey, Bret, when was the beginning of your fandom? I would point to that match, that night, right there. Steve Austin versus The Rock, no disqualification. WrestleMania 17. I watched this one because they showed Austin's highlights, matches, promos all day. And I liked it. You know, the one thing I miss more than anything is, you know, Austin would come out, hit that top rope, put those fists up, and those camera flashes. Yeah, man, it's something you don't see it's something you don't see anymore. And yeah, we know Vince McMahon came out and, you know, shook the hand of the rattlesnake, and Vince McMahon and Stone Cold on the same side. Stone Cold says that he regrets that, wishes that he would have stunned him. But, you know, hindsight's 2020, and today's 316. Number 3 match, Austin versus Triple H, 2001. This looks like it was right before Triple H was injured. 3 stages of hell. No way out. Definitely, a couple months before Austin, Triple H was injured. You know, this 2-man power trip. Not a lot of people like that. Triple H tore his quad. Second match, which is funny because the 4th match is that match against Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, against Austin and Triple H. Mostly for Triple H tearing his quad. That sucked. Number 5 was War Games. Now, I don't know too much about Stone Cold, Stuttering Steve Austin, the Hollywood Blondes. I want to do my history, you know, like 95, 96 WCW is like when I really got into like WCW. So anything really before that, I don't have much clue. But Arn Anderson, Beautiful Bobby Eaton, Larry Zbyszko, Rick Rude, and Steve Austin versus Barry Windham, Dustin Rhodes, Nikita Koloff, Ricky Steamboat, and Sting. I mean, that's a 9.09 any day of the week. Then you got Bret and Austin Survivor Series match in 96. That was fantastic. Madison Square Garden. Bret Hart, Brian Pillman, Jim Neidhart, Owen Hart, British Bulldog versus Goldust, Ken Shamrock, Animal Hawk, and Austin. That was at like a in your house Canadian Stampede where the Canadians came out and they got such a huge ovation. Another 10-man tag match. The 8th best match was the Invasion or Survivor Series. Booker T, Kurt Angle, Van Dam, McMahon, and Austin, Shane McMahon versus Angle, Jericho, Kurt Kane, Big Show, The Rock, and The Undertaker. I was so pissed. Now, this is 2001. I was, 88, 10, 12, 13. And I was so mad that Team WWF won and Kurt Angle turned his back on the alliance. I literally punched my pillow. Chris Benoit versus Steve Austin. I don't remember this match. Just a SmackDown match. Right after Austin turned heel. Angle versus Austin. SummerSlam 2001. Dude Love versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. No disqualification match. Yeah, that was like the top 11 matches Stone Cold's had. He's obviously had other ones. 2001 Royal Rumble. He would go on to win his third Rumble. He'd feud with Ricky Steamboat in the early WCW. I do remember that. Kurt Angle versus Austin. Shawn Michaels versus Austin. It was a King of the Ring. I remember that match. You know. Bret Hart versus Austin. Let's see. That is In Your House. Let's see his worst matches. Let's see the no good Stone Cold matches. Let's see. His worst match was, it's like all these WCW matches. Steve Austin versus The Undertaker in 2002. Mark Merrow versus Steve Austin. Jake the Snake versus Steve Austin. Oh, okay, that's not the Royal Rumble match. That would have made no sense whatsoever. But, you know, I'm going to stay on the good side of Steve Austin. I don't want to get stunned. What? But he is the best. He is really, you know, I did kind of meet Stone Cold Steve Austin one time. I was at the Tri-County Flea Market, just a little, you know, chubby self, just walking around, and then I see a sea of people in front of me, and I look over, and 20 feet tall is Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he did a signing there that day. So that is my Stone Cold story. I would love to meet him, but let me know what your favorite Stone Cold Steve Austin match is. Even his promos, you know. He did start the what, which a lot of people don't like, you know. When you got to interrupt somebody, you say, what. I do like his match against Savio Vega, WrestleMania. Oh, no. Beware of the Dog. They did fight at WrestleMania, but yeah, so that's Stone Cold Steve Austin retrospect. Give me a hell yeah if you're a big Stone Cold fan. One thing I'm starting to become a fan of is Triple A. Yes, Triple A, the Mexican promotion. They do a lot with WWE. Last night was their Rey de Reyes, which is King of Kings. Night one. They're doing one night last night and another night last night or next week. And it's like a whole different universe, guys. It really is. El Grande Americano Kaiser is over down there, but booed up here. El Grande Americano Gable is booed down there, but cheered up here. Dominic's a heel. Omos is there for some reason. And, you know, last night you had Bayley. She answered an open challenge against Flamer, who is, I think, the longest now Reina de Reyes champion, which I think is a women's championship. Then you got El Grande Americano Kaiser defeated El Grande Americano Gable, La Parca, Bratwurst winner, and Santos Escobar to become the 2026 Rey de Reyes winner, which is great. And then a really good match, Dominic Mysterio took on El Hijo del Vikingo in a no disqualification match. It was cool. Omos comes down, and then like this like mini El Vikingo, who's like 15, like came out, helped Dominic, and he won. Dominic's like a big over, and like really over down in Mexico. Obviously, he is the king of the luchadors, so of course he's gonna be over. But yeah, next week, let's see. I want to see what next week holds. That was part one. So next week we have, let's see, night two. Oh, there's 3 parts. So next week we have, oh geez, excuse me as I might not get these names. La Hydra and Money Machine, Comilla de Plata and Garro de Oro versus Lola Vice, Mr. Iguana, and Rey Fenix. And then the AAA World Tag Team Championship, Bacano and Psycho Clown versus the War Raiders, Eric and Ivar. Eric, who has the worst name in professional wrestling. And then it looks like night part 3 is Laredo Kid versus TJ Perkins versus Dragon Lee versus Jack Cartwheel. Wow. So yeah, definitely check them out. They have a lot of shows on all the time. And, you know, this is awesome to watch. The commentary is, I think, like JBL does the commentary. It's just a really cool, like, we haven't really talked about AAA, but any wrestling, I love wrestling, you know. But Big Chunk is going to go to AEW Revolution last night. I watched the highlights. I didn't watch the show because I was at work, but I watched all the highlights. I saw, you know, Bodyslam.net. Those guys, you know, kept me updated. We're going to go over the results. We're going to say what happened. We're going to talk about good things. We're going to talk about bad things. Might throw in a Bratwurst Award there. But Boom and Doom, Big Boom AJ and QT Marshall with the Rizzler Big Justice defeated the Infantry, Charlie Bravo and Sean Dean. Awesome match. Boom, they're doing their thing. Wayne Brady smacked Shane Taylor. Does Wayne Brady got to smack a beach? He did. Then Willow Nightingale retained the AEW TBS Championship against Lana Cross. Good for Willow. And then Jungle Jack Perry, in his hometown, became the AEW National Champion by last eliminating Ricochet in a 21-man Blackjack Battle Royal, which saw names like Ace Austin, A.R. Fox, Dalton Castle, Daniel Garcia, Johnny TV, Johnny Morrison, Shibata, Leo Rush with a creepy-ass new look, Rocky Romero, Scorpio Sky, Tommaso Ciampa. So, good for Jack. He celebrated with his family at the ringside, and they have an amazing set of hair. Very good hair genes in that family. Then the pay-per-view started. It was cute because they did once again, the pre-show would start the main show, and then they would have fireworks in the middle of the first match. So that was technically on the pre-show, and that was technically the first match. FTR, Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood. I said last show this was their third time fighting. This is actually their fifth. They're defeating Cousins Nick and Matt to retain the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Christian Cage, and Edge Cope came back. So they are now united once again in their fight against FTR. So I can't wait for that match. Tony Storm defeated Marina Shafir. And this is the big news of the show. Former UFC champion, former WWE champion, Ronda Rousey made her surprise appearance. Yes, Ronda is all elite. So she came out. They kind of could have done it better. Could have done it better, but Ronda, she still's got that presence where, wow, Ronda Rousey, you got to put a little bit more focus, Rousey. We're going to talk more about Rousey in the next segment, but she's back, or she's now in AEW, so good for her. Give me a hell yeah. This hat's older than you, kid. It really is. Oh, man. This is why I don't throw anything out. I really don't. I have so much stuff that I don't throw out. Let's see, what else is next? Jon Moxley defeated Toshida to retain the AEW Continental Championship. And once again, another return. Will Ospreay came out after... I don't know what happened to him, but everybody was like, wow, Will Ospreay's back. He was just injured. He did one of those John Cena 2008s where he was out for what was going to be a while, but he came back real quick. Let's see, what happened with Ospreay? I don't like Ospreay. I don't. He's too a little flippy-dippy for me. But let's see. Oh wow. He healed a herniated disc in his C2 and C6 spine. So that was in August. So March, I mean, that's almost a year. Good for Ospreay to come back, though. He's still young, still got some little sprouts to him. So, Ospreay versus Moxley, that's great for any wrestling fan. But then, I told you about Willow Nightingale, Lana Cross, fighting for the TBS Championship. Then they fought for the AEW Women's World Championship. And Willow Nightingale and Harley Cameron lost to Lana Cross and Megan Main. The Divine Dominion, which is, that's a cool name. But good and bad night for Willow Nightingale, unfortunately. Swerve Strickland versus Brody King. I didn't see that match, but, Brody King's one of my favorite. So good for Swerve. Tekla defeated Chris Statlander, best 2 out of 3 falls. AEW World Women's Championship. That went 17 minutes. Tekla got 2 falls to 1. AEW World Trios Championship. Jet Speed, Kevin Knight, Mike Bailey, and Mystico. Yes, the Mystico is now all elite. He has a dual contract now where he can wrestle over here and wrestle over there. Defeated Don Callis family, Okada, Fletcher, and Mark Davis. Andrade El Idolo defeated Bandito. 20-minute classic. I might have to check that out. I really might have to check that out. And a Tornado 6-man tag team match. Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, and Roderick Strong defeated the Dogs, Clark Connor, David Finlay, and Gabe Kidd. And then the AEW World Title, a California Death Match. MJF defeated Adam Page. I saw the match. What a match. Bloody match. Brutal match. There was syringes. There was chairs. MJF came out looking like Terry Funk. Insane. Absolutely insane match for both of them. MJF retained. Good for AEW. They, they sold the show out. What is it? Is it Crypto now? Crypto.com, aka Staples Center. So, I do want to look at something real quick. I want to see if they posted their results. But, AEW, I try to really look at it and try to kind of, yada, 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 but it is what it is. AEW is not really anything for me, but there was another wrestling show this weekend on Friday, which I do want to talk about because, it is close to my heart. And the only results that I see here is from SWA. As you know, they are the wrestling promotion that I love and train with and are my buddies. They had a show, hard to the core. I will read you the results real quick. A1G defeated Hunter Grayson in a leather strap match. Hunter Grayson posted pictures of his back. Crazy strap match. Me and You face the Boy Man. Jason MC to a no contest. Alex Vendetta defeated Steven Person to win the SWA Adrenaline title in a street fight. FAFO, Big Ox and Christopher Roan defeated Savage Blazer, Cliff Reyes and K Blazer. I don't know, question mark, and Rage defeated Brooke Otta and Mason Shadows. I don't know who would team with Rage. Johnny Malloy defeated Pancakes in a weapon of choice match. Two of my favorites. Santana Fury and Bear Bronson fought to a no contest in an SWA Pride Championship match. Good to see Santana Fury, world champion of the Fed. And then it looks like Bear Bronson and Santana defeated Jack Morrissey and Ring King Camacho. Sounds like a typical Jerry Swerve at the end. So good for them. They're having their big show in June. And I hope nothing for the best because those are my family and I love them. So, wrestling is wrestling. And I love wrestling. And we do need to move on to the UFC. Because what did I tell you? At UFC Fight Night, Kevin Vallejos versus Josh Emmett. And Kevin Vallejos wasted no time in defeating Josh Emmett. 3 minutes and 33 seconds in the very first round. Kevin Vallejos, 42 significant strikes to Josh Emmett's 2. That's right. I said 2. What? I said 2. What? I said 2 strikes. Josh Emmett didn't get off the block at all. A huge win for Kevin Vallejos. Definitely adding him to that top 10 contenders. Now 18-1. Who is next for El Chino? What a fight. We'll look at the other fight cards. Other fight night results. Because Julia Robinson, who's going to pretty much fight next for the title, she defeated Amanda Lomas by decision. Really, really good decision. Jose Miguel Delgado defeated Andre Fili by split decision. Io Cutelaba with a early submission guillotine choke 4 minutes in the first round. A really good fight between Charles Johnson and Bruno Gustavo de Silva. Johnson won by split decision. Tough loss by Chris Curtis. Another loss for Chris Curtis. Eric Anders, retired Eric Anders, yes, the 15-fight UFC veteran, decided, hey, I'm going out on top with a win. Defeated Brad Tavares. So nice little Apex meta card. I haven't talked about this, but I did apply for credentials to recap the show, but they were declined, so I couldn't do that. So maybe next time. Maybe next time, guys. Next week, though, we'll talk more about this. Next show, we're going to be back on Friday. Mobster Evloev versus Lerone Murphy. Pretty much a number one contenders match. O2 Arena. It's going to be a great fight. I'm looking forward to that. Michael Venom Page versus Sam Patterson. Roman Dolidze versus Christian Leroy Duncan. Nathaniel Woods is fighting, so that's gonna be a good fight card. I'll choose who I want to win. I'm probably not gonna have pick a winner of that fight, but that's a number one contenders fight. That is a number one contenders fight, but I do need to make some breaking news sound effect. Breaking news, everybody. It is just announced today that my favorite fighter of all time, Nate Diaz, is returning to mixed martial arts, and he's taking on Platinum Mike Perry in May. Yes, those two are going to fight for MVP's MMA debut. That's the Ronda Rousey card. That's the Francis Ngannou, Gina Carano, Philip Linz. Gonna be a great card. Nate just coming back. If you want to talk about a real BMF, this is going to be the fight. I love Nate Diaz. I've seen him live in my one and only time I've ever seen UFC live. I've lived in Vegas for 13 years, and I've only been to the UFC live in New Jersey back in 2011. But yes, Mike Perry too. He is nothing to, he is a king of BKFC. He's like, I don't know, 6-0 in BKFC. He is champion of whatever it is, king of violence. So these two are going to go at it. Mike Perry, he's had a really good MMA career. Only one loss by knockout, but, in the submissions, wow, one loss by knockout, one loss by submission, and 6 by decision. So you either need to take this guy 3 rounds or knock his head off because he's coming at you. And Mike Perry is a character, and so is Nate Diaz. So I am looking really forward to this match. He fought Jake Paul. Yeah, you can tell that's a Fugazi fight because Mike Perry, if he wasn't getting paid, probably the most he's ever been paid, would have knocked out Jake Paul. But anyway, that is like the UFC. There's no really UFC topic to talk about. Next week we have UFC in London. Then the 28th we have Adesanya versus Piper. So, I love this every week is UFC. May not love it, but speaking about Stone Cold Steve Austin, his match or his little fight, Booker T in the supermarket, is one of the price check on Jackass. Yeah, Stone Cold is the best. But yeah, that's UFC. Good fight last night, or the fight, UFC Fight Night, Emmett versus Vallejo. Fight tonight, Marlon Rahiki versus Henry Hardwick. Oh man, that guy showed his jaw after the fight. That jaw is fucked. Performance tonight, Kevin Vallejos and Manuel Souza. Manuel Souza won. Let's see, how did he win? Manuel Souza. KO punch. Wow. So good for them. Make that money. I think it's now $50,000 bonus. So, there's not any NFL news per se. I know who somebody got traded to the, Christian Kirk. 49ers reached a 1-year deal with Christian Kirk. That's going to be good for them. He was always, what was he in? Was he Jacksonville? I remember him being in Jacksonville. Was that the other Kirk? Let's see. No, he was in Jacksonville 2 years. Cardinals, Houston, Texans last year, and 49ers. So good pickup for the 49ers. They got to do something. Like I said, they're always there, but never there. Justin Fields, though, from the Jets, got traded to the Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs are trading for New York Jets quarterback Justin Fields. Will back up Mahomes, obviously. Chiefs suspended the Jets. 6th-round pick. So, and he's due $10 million. So, back up against one of the greatest quarterbacks of the generation. And, we will see what happens. Still as legend, Hall of Famer Rod Woodson, tired of Aaron Rodgers' waiting game. They need to move forward. Well, I agree with you. That dude's won 1 Super Bowl in 45 years, and he's just not the answer. I haven't given a Bratwurst award. I do want to give a Bratwurst award, but I don't like doing this. I don't like promoting this, but what was it? There was some some boxing event by the influencer Aiden Ross, and some schmuck won, and Gypsy Crasuda versus Super Hot Fire. What a bunch of goofy ass names. But I think whoever won that fight did a Nazi salute, and that's a piece of shit move to do. Nazis are not cool, no matter how much they are promoted in the world. But yeah, he won this fight, and afterwards gave a Nazi salute. He's got SS tattoos on him. It's a absolute shit disrespect to boxing. So for that, I'm just gonna give it to Aiden Ross because, like I said, these kick streamers, influence personalities, streamers, you won the Bratwurst Award of the week. Do better. You're on this planet once, and stop showing Nazis on your show. So, fuck you. Anyway, speaking about something I do love, instead of Nazis, the World Baseball Classic is almost done. Yes, we have the finals, but before we get to the finals, we're going to talk about how we got here to the finals. So, last show we talked about it was March 14th? So, Sunday, the United States defeated the Dominican Republic to move on to the finals. And today, just now, breaking news, Venezuela defeated Italy 4-2. So tomorrow is going to be the finals of the World Baseball Classic, Venezuela versus United States. Wow. The USA defeated the Dominican Republic in a dramatic World Baseball Classic semifinal. Let me tell you, the very last pitch, it was a ball. It was low. It wasn't anywhere near the strike zone. And the referees called it for America and had USA advance to the championship game in Miami. And now Venezuela is going to head to Miami to face USA. Obviously, I want USA to win. But the powerhouse of Japan, though, losing to Venezuela. I was shocked. I thought Japan was going to at least make the finals. But they lost. Oh, Hulk Hogan, rest in peace. He got snubbed for the in memoriam. We're going to talk more about that, too. But, yeah. So, craziness. MLB season is coming up just a few days away. 10 days away. It starts with the Yankees versus the Giants, I believe. Let's see. Let's go down to, yes, Friday, March 27th. Okay, am I wrong? Yeah, opening day, Oracle Park, one place I've always wanted to go. I definitely need to hit up some games this year. But soon, while we move topics, I might hit up a lot of basketball games because the NBA is in, yes, again, talks about an expansion team in Vegas and Seattle. We talked about it. We kind of hinted at it. But now they're having a Board of Governors meeting on March 24th and 25th with discussion about who could possibly be an expansion team. Now, I would love Las Vegas. Basketball team. We have hockey. We have the Knights. We're going to have the baseball. We're going to have the Athletics. We have the Raiders, the Aces. But having basketball would be fantastic. Fantastic. I hope so. And Seattle, they got screwed with the Supersonics. Oklahoma City. I think now, Oklahoma City has been in such a round that if Seattle comes back, I think they should be able to get all the accolades and have Oklahoma City Thunder and their accolades separate. Go back. You know what I mean? Like, you got Seattle Supersonics, everything up until 2008, and then you have the Thunder, everything up from 2008, and then with Seattle, you have Seattle's history go back to Supersonics. So, it'll be good. Seattle is doing good, too. Mariners. You got the Kraken. The Seahawks just won the Super Bowl. And now, you might have the NBA Seattle Supersonics Part 2. But we will see. Obviously, that's how life works. NHL, let's look at... Actually, before we move on to the NBA, let's look at the standings, because I really want to see what other teams clinched, or... I know a lot of teams have made the postseason, but what teams have clinched? So, Pistons still on top. Celtics and Knicks. Knicks kind of fell down and won. Cavaliers, Magic, and Raptors. Now, that's the teams that are in the playoffs. Now, the play-in is the Heat, Hawks, 76ers, and Hornets. Play-in, if you don't know, gives like 4 other teams a chance. They face off against each other. Winner faces the 6th seed or the 1st seed and the 2nd seed, right? Pacers, Wizards, and Nets eliminated. Bulls and Bucks holding on. In the Western Conference, the next champion is going to be either the Thunder, Spurs, or Lakers. Rockets, Nuggets, or Timberwolves. Those are those seeds. Suns, Clippers, Warriors, and Trailblazers are going to be in the play-in. And then the Grizzlies, Pelicans, the Mavs, and the Jazz are pretty much going to be eliminated. And the Kings are eliminated too. So, we're getting down there. I felt like we just started talking about this season. And it's right already here in the playoffs. Still, a good chunk left, but damn. It's been a fast season. Speaking about fast seasons, NHL, we've kind of talked a lot about Buffalo Sabres, and they're actually going to be out here tomorrow facing the Golden Knights. They're still in the first place in the Eastern Conference Atlantic Division. Hurricanes doing good in the Metropolitan. Penguins and Islanders are doing good too. Avalanche, pretty much the best team in hockey right now. Golden Knights are behind the Ducks by 1 point. So, this hockey season, I'm really looking forward to these playoffs, because we're going to talk about every single game. The wild card. We're going to talk about, say the Islanders. We're going to make our predictions. The Sabres. Sabres are number 2 in the Eastern Division now, but we'll see what happens. They have a 100% chance of clinching. How crazy is that? The only time we really see Stone Cold and Hulk Hogan in the ring together. They should have fought at WrestleMania 18. Rock, Razor, Austin, Hogan. That's a little brat booking. But actually, I do have some breaking news. I was thinking about this today. In 10 days, on March 26, 2001, will be 25 years since WCW ended, last Nitro. So I think I'm going to make a video of a retrospect, a nice long form video about WCW, my memories. So NHL, we're talking about it right now. Conor McDavid is nearing 400 goals with the Oilers. He already leads the league in points this season and continues to dominate the scoring race. So Conor McDavid, he was the young, new, Sidney Crosby, almost Ovechkin, the future of hockey, and he is. He is current, So 400 goals for him. First overall pick in 2015. It's crazy. These kids get drafted real young, too. Then they play their leagues, somewhere else. And then they get caught up in hockey. But, guys, it is time. NCAA has finally announced the bracket of 2026. And we're going to talk about it. Now, I have already filled up my bracket. It's already filled up. It's ready to go. But I do need to talk about something, because tomorrow and Wednesday, there are 4 games, which are kind of like the first 4. 16 seed UMBC, which is a college basketball team. I don't know where that is. They are the UMBC Retrievers, which UMBC Retrievers. What team is that? University of Maryland. No, they're not the University of Maryland, because that's the... Oh my God. University of Maryland, Baltimore County Retrievers. So they're facing Howard, which is, I think, probably a black school. If I'm right, that's the Howard University. Right. Yeah. Right. So those two, whoever wins, Howard Bison, they're going to fight and see who's going to move on to... Actually, no, that's another Howard. I don't know. They're going to face each other. Winner gets a 16 seed. Moving on. And then you have... Jeez, I have so many clicks open. Then you have Texas versus North Carolina State. Winner moves on to the 11th seed. Prairie View A&M versus Lehigh is going to moving on to 16th seed in the other conference. And Miami of Ohio, the 11th seed, who we talked about, which is 31-1, is facing SMU. And the winner will move on, the Miami, Ohio Redhawks. So I already made my picks. So it's going to be Howard, Texas, Lehigh, and Miami, Ohio. And then I'm going to post a video Wednesday about the bracket. It's not going to be like this form. It's going to be laptop, not StreamYard, StreamYard. You know, it'll be fun. Check it out. But before we get off, we do got to talk about the Academy Awards last night. Yes, the Academy Awards were last night. I just said that twice. And guys, let's go over the winners. So my predictions of the show was Sinners, Best Picture, Paul Thomas Anderson, one battle after another, Timothée Chalamet, Marty Supreme, Emma Stone, Bognia, Jacob Elordi, Frankenstein, and Amy Madigan in Weapons. This is who won last night. And the winners are... God, I hate Bing so much. Winner for Best Picture went to One Battle After Another. Best Directing, Paul Thomas Anderson, One Battle After Another. So I got that one right. Best Actor in a Leading Role, I should have went with him. I don't know why I didn't. Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. What a great movie. What a great actor. You know, his first role was on The Sopranos. Yeah, Sopranos. And then Hardball, I remember watching that. Best Actress in a Leading Role, Jessie Buckley from Hamnet as Agnes Shakespeare. I put Emma Stone. I don't know why. Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Sean Penn. One Battle After Another. I picked Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein as a creature. And Best Actress in a Supporting Role, Amy Madigan in Weapons as Gladys. She pretty much swept the whole entire season of awards. So that is the Academy Awards. I love awards. K-Pop Demon Hunter is Best Animated Feature Film. The one with Shane McMahon's wife, I don't think won anything. Train Dreams. I don't think they won anything, but still, you know, a huge honor for Academy Award. They were nominated for Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Cinematography, and Best Original Song. They won a few awards for this. A lot of awards, actually. They were nominated for a lot, too. But, you know. But Sinners, K-Pop Demon Hunter just took over everything. Which is crazy because, you know, 16 nominations, 13 nominations, 9 nominations. You would think it should be more spread out, you know, but One Battle After Another got 6 awards. Sinners got 4, Frankenstein's got 3, and K-Pop Demon Hunters got 2. And Marty Supreme came out nothing. Nothing. You know, I really wanted to. You know what? I'm just going to do this for fun. Because I don't want no hatred or disgustingness. But I think I'm going to give the award, or give the Bratwurst Award, you know, to the sense of, like, worst of, like, not bad, but worst that you didn't win anything. After being nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actor, Best Original Screenplay, Best Casting, Best Cinematography, Best Production Design, Best Editing, and Best Costume, for going 0 for 9, Timothée Chalamet, you won the Bratwurst Award of this week, because fuck Nazis. And I like Timothée Chalamet. But for coming up short, 0 for 9, Chalamet, you're honored. You won something this weekend. But, yeah, guys, that's it for me. I had a really fun show. Thanks for coming in. We're going to do a little recap real quick. Let me just make sure I talked about everything because I don't want to miss anything I don't talk about. Because there's sometimes where I write things down and I remember them. We talked about Raw, Obafemi, Brock Lesnar. We talked about baseball, football, hockey. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. So we're going to be back on Friday. But don't worry, there's going to be a video coming out on Wednesday. I'm going to do the brackets. It's going to be great. So, let's go back to the theme. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh my god. So, yeah, let me get the what? Wait, what? Alright, guys, as we get off, WrestleMania is in full effect. Omo versus Brock is official. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin. What? Give me a hell yeah. And that's, today's his day. That's why I came on. It was either going to be today or tomorrow. Figured out, come today. Triple A, checking out a lot. Really like it. Check out Rey de Reyes. Night 2 next week. AEW Revolution happened. Good for them. MMA, UFC, big win for Kevin Vallejos this weekend. Got a big featherweight fight. Lerone Murphy versus Evloev. Nate Diaz is coming back to MMA in May. I cannot wait. NFL, Justin Fields to the Chiefs. So, MLB, Team USA versus Team Venezuela in the finals. NBA, expansion, Seattle, Las Vegas. Or even something else. Who knows? Could be something else. Conor McDavid's doing great. 400 goals. Playoffs are heating, or, getting close to the playoffs. March Madness, our show will be Wednesday. It's going to be great. I'm going to have a lot of fun doing that. And the Academy Awards, Chalamet and, Marty Supreme might have not won, but you won the Bratwurst Award because fuck Nazis. But, hey guys, I'm going to get off. Check me out. Twitter, Brat Said That X. We're getting up there in followers. Instagram, Brat Jackson. I don't use it, but, I post pictures of the dogs and they're cute. YouTube, Brat Said That too. Stuck at 25. I don't think you guys give a fuck, but I'm going to start nonstop. And Spotify, Brat Jackson, got to upload some more episodes on there. And bodyslam.net, where you can get all your wrestling news. I'm going to get off. I will see you guys back on Friday. Friday is a special themed chicken edition of Brat Said That. Yes, chicken themed. You tell me why I'm doing it chicken themed. So, that is Brat Said That, episode 45. Been a lot, guys. So, I'm going to get off. Brat Said That, and that's the bottom line, because Brat Jackson said so. What? Alright, guys. Bye.